The laughter followed him up the mountain road, like an insult carved into the wind. It echoed from cabin to cabin, sharp and careless, as settlers paused their work to stare at the sight unfolding before them. A wounded veteran with a stiff walk, a weathered face, an old dog limping faithfully at his side, was dragging supplies toward a dark opening in the mountainside. A cave. Not a cabin, not a house, but a cave. In their minds, it was madness. In his, it was survival. None of them knew that within days, that cave would become the difference between life and death. His name was Daniel Carter, a Christian veteran who had served the United States for most of his adult life. War had taken years from him, left scars across his body, and carved deeper wounds into his spirit. When he returned home, the world felt louder, faster, and less forgiving. The mountain town seemed promising at first, quiet and distant from the noise of cities. But acceptance came with conditions Daniel could not meet. Land was expensive, trust was scarce, and patience for broken men was even scarcer. When he realized he could not afford even the smallest plot, he looked to the mountain itself, steady and unmoving, offering shelter without judgment. His dog, Cooper, had been with him since his final deployment. The two had survived explosions, hunger, and fear together. Cooper sensed danger before it arrived and calm before it settled. When Daniel chose a cave, Cooper followed without hesitation, tail low but steady, eyes alert, understanding this was not surrender but strategy. The cave was dry, deep, and carved naturally into sandstone, its walls thick enough to block wind and cold. Daniel spent weeks reinforcing it with salvaged wood, sealing cracks with clay, and shaping the space into something livable. Every night, he prayed quietly, thanking God for another day and asking for strength to endure the next. The settlers mocked him openly. They joked about him freezing to death, being buried alive, or losing his mind in the dark. Children laughed, adults whispered, and some shook their heads with pity disguised as superiority. Daniel never argued. He had learned long ago that proving yourself to people who refuse to see you is a waste of precious energy. Instead, he prepared. He studied weather patterns, stored food, built a vented stove, and positioned Cooper near the cave entrance at night, trusting the dog's instincts more than any forecast. As winter approached, the mountain grew restless. Snow came earlier than expected, heavier than usual. The sky turned gray and heavy, pressing low against the peaks. Radios crackled with warnings of severe storm, but most settlers brushed it off. They had cabins, fireplaces, and neighbors. They believed themselves safe. Daniel felt a change deep in his bones. Old injuries ached, the kind of ache that had worn him before ambushes overseas. Cooper paced more often, ears twitching, eyes fixed on the horizon. The blizzard arrived without mercy. Wind screamed through the valley, tearing at roofs and snapping trees like matchsticks. Snow fell so fast it erased paths within minutes. Visibility vanished. Cabins groaned under the weight of ice and snow, some collapsing before dawn. Power failed. Fires went out. Panic spread as quickly as the storm itself. People tried to reach each other and failed. The mountains swallowed sound and hope alike. Inside the cave, Daniel waited. The temperature remained steady, the stone walls absorbing heat and releasing it slowly. Snow piled high at the entrance, sealing the cave like a blanket, trapping warmth inside. Cooper curled close, calm but alert. The world outside raged, but inside there was stillness. Daniel prayed again, not for himself, but for those below who had laughed without knowing how fragile safety truly was. When the storm finally weakened, Daniel emerged carefully, digging through snow that reached his chest. What he saw below made his heart sink. Cabins were buried or crushed. Smoke no longer rose from chimneys. The settlement looked abandoned, lifeless. Then Cooper barked sharply and pulled forward, leading Daniel toward a collapsed structure. Beneath layers of snow and broken wood, faint movement stirred. Training took over. Daniel dug until his hands bled. Ignoring the pain, he pulled survivors free one by one, wrapping them in spare clothing, guiding them uphill through the snow. He did not ask questions or wait for thanks. He moved on instinct, the same instinct that had kept him alive in places far worse than this mountain. One by one, survivors were brought into the cave. The same cave that had been mocked now sheltered them. The warmth shocked them. The silence calmed them. Daniel shared his food without hesitation, rationing carefully but generously. He tended wounds, kept the fire burning, and stayed awake through the night to make sure no one slipped away unnoticed. Cooper moved among them quietly, offering comfort simply by being present. Rescue teams arrived days later, stunned to find survivors alive, gathered inside a cave high on the mountain. They listened as settlers spoke with shame and awe about the veteran they had laughed at, the man who had prepared when they had not. News spread quickly. Reporters came. Officials offered help, land, recognition. Daniel accepted what he needed and declined what he did not. Fame had never saved anyone. Preparation had. The settlement changed after that winter. Cabins were rebuilt with respect for nature instead of defiance. People listened more and mocked less. Children waved when Daniel passed. Some brought food. Others simply nodded, understanding at last that strength does not always announce itself loudly. Before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and share what you believe makes someone a true hero, or tell us about a time when someone was underestimated but proved everyone wrong. If you believe in silent heroes and second chances that come without applause, please like this video, share with others, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep these powerful stories alive. Years later, the cave still stands, reinforced and respected, no longer a symbol of mockery, but of wisdom. Daniel still lives there, not because he has nowhere else to go, but because it reminds him of who he is and what he survived. Cooper rests by the entrance, older now, slower, but still watching the mountain with the same loyal eyes. And when winter comes again, the mountain remembers. It remembers the man who listened when others laughed, the dog who trusted without question, and the lesson written in snow and stone. Sometimes the ones who survive are not the ones with the biggest houses or the loudest voices, but the ones who quietly prepare, endure, and choose faith over fear when the storm arrives.